My BF31M and I 28F have been together for just over 2 years. We have been living with roommates and been looking to move in for a while. It's expensive and I have a dog, so it's been difficult finding a landlord that would be okay with a dog. My friend has been moving out and she has a dog too and is willing to sublet for us. The landlord said they are okay with signing us if we want to stay after the 8-month sublet. It's a fairly good price near work, so I'm happy with it. We went through the credit check and we are about to sign it, but recently I discovered that my BF bought another car. He already has a daily driver but wants a weekend car, which I personally find ridiculous. Why anyone needs 2 cars? He has a Honda Accord that is fine and he has never complained about problems with it. But he recently said he bought another car. He isn't the best with money. He really likes to spend till the last dollar and doesn't have any savings. I've had to bail him out twice on rent. We both pay around $1,100 plus utilities and he makes around $70K a year, so he should have savings, but he doesn't. He paid me back, but it was months later than we agreed on. So I wasn't really happy that he did that, but I didn't realize he bought such an expensive car. He didn't show it to me until Sat when he picked me up in a Corvette. I don't know what model it is, but I asked him how much it was and he said it wasn't my business, and I was pissed off. He bought a clearly expensive car. He admitted later because I refused to let it go it was $42K and he had traded in the Honda. Even then his payments are almost $800 a month. I was so mad he did that, especially because he asked me to cover part of his share of the apartment security deposit a week before he bought the car. I called my friend and apologized and told her I can't sign the lease, and she said she was okay with it. I hadn't paid the deposit yet, thankfully, and my roommate is okay with me staying, so I'm good. But my BF lease is ending and the landlord wants him out, so he is mad at me cancelling us moving in together because now he still needs to move and will probably be paying more than if we moved in together. He yelled at me for butting in on his business, saying it's not my business what he buys. I think that's fair, but he also doesn't have any money and bought an expensive car, so if anything goes wrong I have to pay his share of rent. Comment 1. Money is something that breaks up relationships. It's clear the two of you are incompatible in your attitudes towards money. You think he should save, he thinks money is for spending. He's blurry about the lines between your money and his money, or he wouldn't have asked you to cover for him, while not mentioning he was buying an expensive car. It's a good call to not move in with him. NTA. Comment 2. NTA. He clearly cannot be trusted with finances, so why would you want to progress to a point of cohabitation? Finances are definitely a shared business when you cohabit as a couple, and while you don't need to sign off on every purchase of his, you definitely need to know if he's planning to leave you to carry all the financial burden. Don't move in with him yet. See if he can mature a bit more before you end up endlessly bailing him out for his poor financial decisions. Comment 3. NTA. Your response is wise. There is no way to have a successful partnership with someone that hasn't matured to adulthood. He would only continue to need you to lend him money, he would not pay you back in a timely fashion, and the resentment would continue to build. 2 things happen. 1. You end up breaking up with debt, or 2. You become the parent in the relationship and enable his bad habits, and he resents you for acting like a parent to him when you say no. Run, run, run. I, 25F, am pregnant with my first baby. I am so excited for this new chapter of my life. My mom and I are currently planning my baby shower. My brother and I were primarily raised around my dad's family. When I was too young to remember, my parents decided to spend minimal time with my mom's family. Her family is messy, several of them were drug addicts, they were always fighting, it just wasn't a good environment for kids. Therefore, weekends and holidays were spent with my dad's family. My parents recently got divorced. Since the divorce, my mom has really struggled with my brother and I spending our time with my dad's family. I understand how and why it is hard for her. She feels like we prioritize my dad's family over hers, but we don't have any relationship with her family. My dad's family reaches out on birthdays, holidays, for milestones, etc. I didn't hear from anyone on my mom's side of the family when I got engaged or married, which is fine. It's just a testament to the lack of relationship I have with them. Now that the baby shower is in the works, I made my guest list, which had about 57 people on it. I asked my mom, who from her family she wanted me to invite. She had me add 17 people, 7 of which are friends she's had for less than 2 years. The rest are her family, who I don't really know. I added all of them with no questions asked. I had too many people on the guest list and had to remove some of them. I removed 9 people from my list. I then asked my mom who I could remove from her list. She replied to my text and said, "Everyone I sent you is important, I would like you to keep them on the list." I just said okay. Shortly after, she asked me if I ended up removing anyone from her list. I told her that I removed 3 people from her list, who I haven't seen or heard from in at least 10 years. She told me one of them was already informed of the shower and verbally invited. So, she asked me to send an invite to this person. I did, with no hesitation. A few days later, while out to brunch, she said there were other people I would have preferred you to take off the list than the people you did. I explained that she could have told me this when I asked her who to take off. She explained that since she is paying for the shower, she should be able to invite who she wants. Side note, I did not want her or anyone to pay for the shower for this exact reason. I said that the people who I took off from her list are people who I haven't heard from in a decade. She said my milestones are her milestones, therefore she should be able to celebrate with whoever she wants. She said if there is room for 60, she should be able to invite 20. I told her it's my baby shower, not hers. Needless to say, we never came to an understanding. She just accused me of being inconsiderate of her, and I left the restaurant crying. It's hard to trust my emotions right now between all the pregnancy hormones. I see where she is coming from, but I only removed 2 of her people. So, comment 1. NTA. Her paying for this, then lording it over your head is major mood. You asked nicely who could be removed, she gave you a non-answer, so you did what you had to do. Tell her that while you are grateful of her monetary contribution to the shower, if it means she feels entitled to something that should otherwise be about you celebrating a new member of your family, she can take her money and leave. Unless she wants to be surprised with less time with her grandchild due to her behavior, she should learn boundaries now. Comment 2. NTA. Look. Your mom's about to become a grandmother, perhaps for the first time. She's not wrong for seeing it as a milestone for herself. But baby showers are not intended to celebrate soon-to-be grandmotherhood. It's a celebration for the parents and their soon-to-be baby. If not, what's next? Soon-to-be aunts get a say? And uncles? And cousins? I genuinely dislike that your mother is using her funding as a way to bully you into giving in. However, I'm inclined to raise some weird thoughts about the party's size. 60 people for a baby shower is a lot. If you don't know some of those initial 57 of your list all that well, maybe that's why your mom thought, well, since she's inviting people she doesn't know particularly well either, I can do the same, since I'm paying for it anyway. Obviously, I don't know if this is the case, and it doesn't excuse her trying to hijack your party. Comment 3. NTA, but give back her money and tell her that she's pushing boundaries, and if she keeps doing it she won't be invited to things. You need to put your foot down. It's your child, and it's about your child and not about her, and she needs to accept it. I, 18, F, recently had my birthday. At first, I was just going to have lunch with my friends at a restaurant. But my parents insisted on joining us and celebrating it together with us, even though we were going to celebrate at home as a family anyway. I didn't mind and told them I'd be happy to have everyone together at the party. It was all going well until my mom told me she also invited her friends to my birthday party. I didn't want them there because I didn't know them well enough and it was just supposed to be people close to me. But she was stubborn about inviting them, so I suggested that we could have 2 timings, one for my mom's guests and the other for my friends. She agreed to it and it was settled that we will invite her guests at 12 p.m, while my friends would be there at 2 p.m. This way, I could spend enough time with my friends and also give enough time to the other guests. On the day of the party, none of my mom's guests arrived on time. And only by the time all my friends were there, did they start arriving. I was a bit annoyed but didn't say anything. One of the guests' daughter, around 6 years old, wouldn't leave me alone. She clung to me the entire time. Her parents insisted on having her cut my cake. I let her do it since she was just a kid who probably wanted to do it for fun. But then, she started smashing the cake with her bare hands, wiping her snot on the new dress I was wearing, which was my birthday gift, and even spat on the food. And her parents, instead of disciplining their kid, stopped the music that my friends and I were playing, and played kids' music so that their daughter could show us her dance. I didn't get to spend a single second with my friends, and by the time they left, everything was a mess. I still kept my cool and thanked everyone, including those parents, for coming to the party. Once everyone left, I started crying and I told Mom how her guests ruined my birthday and that I hoped I never have to see them again. She took it as me blaming her for everything, so she started telling me how ungrateful of a child I am and that I didn't even deserve to have a birthday party. I don't even know what to tell her anymore. Update. My friends and I are planning on hanging out pretty soon, and I'm happy we could have a redo party, no parents or 6-year-olds this time lol. Many comments asked about my dad's reaction. My dad was against the entire thing when my mom first mentioned inviting her friends. But he had to give in since Mom was the one paying for most things and there was no winning an argument with her. During the party, he was, well, drunk. Very drunk. And he didn't realize how big of a mess it was. He still thinks that the party went really well. Comment 1. NTA. I totally understand. Your mom insisted on her insensitive friends coming and they ruined it for you, and then your mom blames you for it? If this ever happens again, and it shouldn't remember last time? No thanks. If they show up, I leave, then make sure your friends are there first, and then when your parents' friends show up, you can leave. Hell, I'm surprised you didn't leave with your friends when it was clear your parents' friends were just ruining everything. Kudos on being the more mature person and even thanking them for coming. You can tell your mom that you're very disappointed in her. Not for the party, maybe she didn't realize her friends were crap, but for how she ignored and dismissed your feelings and made it about herself. Comment 2. NTA, however, I'd caution your approach on this one. I take this one as a learning experience that your events will be co-opted by your mom, so plan whatever events you actually want quite separately from your mom. Also, you'll get to learn that people are often late to things, so a 2-hour spacing was never actually going to work out. Comment 3. NTA. Wow, it sounds like your mom made your party about her. And then turned it on you and insulted you. Is your mom like this normally? Because she may be narcissistic. Her actions certainly were. Regardless, you're 18, and you can get the hell away from her. Make your own parties and don't invite her. Or her friends. Me, 28M, and my wife, 29F, were lucky enough to receive major help with buying our first house as a wedding gift from my wife's parents. They paid a down payment of 50%, and we pay the monthly mortgage. Her parents are very well off and both make over $250K each a year. They do not have to continue to work, but they often travel for a good 8 weeks of the year and in general want to continue to work for a few more years to support their lifestyle. My parents, however, live a more modest life. They can pay for what they need and a lot of what they want and own a house in a small rural area. My in-laws live a 15-minute drive from where our house is. I am pretty sure part of the down payment gift was to ensure that we remained close to them. Me and my wife are expecting our first child together in May and are super excited. We've started to discuss childcare options, and in our city a spot in a baby room at a legit daycare is almost $2K a month. My parents knew about this struggle and my mother offered to stay and watch our baby once we've run out of maternity leave. Baby will probably be 10 to 11 months. They, however, live over 2 hours from where we are, so I offered them the bedroom and washroom in our finished basement. My father's workplace would actually be lesser of a commute from our place than where they live now. So in this idea my parents would live in with us while my mother provides free child care. This would save us a lot of money and ensure that they have an active role in their grandchild's life. However, when we told my in-laws about it, it was awkward. And then later my wife came to me telling me that they aren't comfortable with us letting my parents live for free in a house they paid for. She said that they offered to help pay for childcare if that was an issue. I feel as they don't get to have a say with what we do with our house considering it was a gift. We are very thankful of course, but I don't think we owe it to them to not let my parents stay with us. I also think it's unfair since they will be 15 minutes from their grandchild and could see them every day, while if my parents stay where they live now they will see our child a few times a month max. Am I the a-hole? Edited to add, I of course discussed this with my wife before involving either of our parents. We were in an agreement prior to the conversation with her parents. Now we are a bit nervous, her more so than me. We are also both women, we are a lesbian couple. I am the one carrying the child. I did not feel the need to mention that, but it seems to influence a lot of people's opinion based on who is the carrier. Comment 1. NTA, either the house was a gift or it wasn't. If it's a gift then it is your house and you get to choose what you do with it. If your in-laws want authority over who lives there, then it isn't your house. It's theirs, and you're just paying rent. Comment 2. It honestly seems to me like it's less about the house and more that they're willing to pay to make sure the other grandparents don't have more time than they do. Living together is going to make OP's grandparents automatically get more time with the baby, and that's what really makes them uncomfortable. Comment 3. NTA. Your in-laws are using a gift as a way to control how you live. That's manipulative behavior. It's your house, period. If they paid for the wedding, would they have a say in your marriage? If they buy you dinner, would they tell you what to order? No, because a gift is a gift, it does not buy them a vote in what you do. Your wife needs to stand up to her parents and make sure this does not set a precedent with them for future control.